And hello, my fabulous sixth graders. This is your favorite teacher, Mr. Jacobson. And we're on our final webcast for ancient India. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about Indian empires, and we'll also be talking about some achievements that are known for the Indians in the ancient Indian region. So looking forward to being with you for the short time. Let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so we have the Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire is the first empire. It's Chandragupta Maurya. He unifies all of northern India and founded the Mauryan Empire. So most of India is going to be conquered, including what we now call Pakistan here. It's going to lack a little bit here at the tip region of the more extreme regions of India's southern tip there. Uh, he had a complex government. He had a network of spies. He had 600,000 soldiers, thousands of war elephants and chariots. Farmers paid heavy taxes for army's protection. So it is a bona fide empire. There's a government, there's a standing army, and they even have elephants, which elephants really I'd have to say the elephant using them in war is pretty intimidating for somebody who may be only on a horse. Uh, and so that could have played a huge part in some of the success that Chandragupta had, and also the successors as well will continue with the elephants. So here we have maybe this is just a depiction of what it may have looked like. So here you have elephants. They're all obviously painted in some kind of color to give it more presence and intimidation. At the top, they usually had some kind of a case where they would have a driver, then they'd have a few people with bow and arrows who could pop off shots to their enemies. And over here, you see some chariots, and I believe that's the god Ganesh right there. I think that's an elephant. Um, anyway, so they had chariots, they had elephants. Um, they have over about 600,000 men as an army. So this is a formidable empire that has now emerged, known as the Mauryan Empires, founded by Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, now Chandragupta Maurya, he's gonna establish his empire, but his grandson is going to expand it, and he's going to make this empire stronger and richer than it's ever been. Um, Ashoka, he uh, he is at first known for his military prowess. He's a gifted leader, gifted tactician, and he is at first a very ruthless individual who just wants to get power and honor. Um, and then they have a major battle. I think we discussed this in previous webcasts, so I'm just going to quickly go over it. There was a huge battle that he fought, and later on, after that war, he just saw the suffering and the death, and the story goes that he really began to seriously question his actions. And as a way of penance, he sought some kind of religion that would give him peace. And a religion known for its peace is Buddhism. So after his conversion, he swore he would never cause wars again. So therefore, Ashoka becomes a completely different leader at this point. He was a warmonger. He was a warlord. He was ruthless. And he's now going to, instead focusing on war and expanding his empire, he's going to focus on um, doing right by his subjects and to his subjects. So he's going to focus on digging wells, building roads, planting shade trees, building rest houses for weary travelers, and spreading Buddhism. His job now isn't to expand his empire, but to alleviate the pains and the suffering of those who live within his empire. And Ashoka is highly respected in Indian culture. I mean, if there's two people you know about, if you grew up in India, it's Ashoka and it's Gandhi. And they even still have TV shows and movies made after this great individual who. Um, it's always nice to hear a story, especially if it's true, of somebody who uh, has a second chance, of someone who gets a chance to be redeemed, if you will, from who they were before to what they can become later. And Ashoka, in the story of Ashoka, is definitely one of those stories. So that's during the Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire is going to go away, and the Gupta Empire will take its place. Now, after the Mauryan Empire, India divided into for 500 years. In 320 AD, Chandra Gupta I conquered most of northern India. So the Mauryan Empire will eventually fade away. 500 years, India will be divided. It will be fragmented. There'll be lots of wars going on, and then there will be one to unite everyone once again. His name is Chandra Gupta I. So Gupta kings brought back Hinduism to the Buddhist India. Remember, Ashoka brought Buddhism, and Buddhism flourished in India for a long time, but Buddhism's time is up in India by the time the Gupta Empire comes around. Because the Gupta kings will now reinstate Hinduism. They're going to bring back the caste system. They're going to bring back the idea of reincarnation, the idea of multiple gods, etc. So they are now reviving Hindu writings, worshiping practices. The Guptas were Hindu, but allowed people to practice Jainism and Buddhism. So Gupta society in 375 AD, Chandragupta II. Chandragupta I is the one that started the Gupta Empire. Chandragupta II began ruling India. The Gupta Empire was at the height of its power at this point. Gupta kings believed the social order of the caste system would strengthen their rule. So think about it. If you want to enforce a strict, clear social structure in your empire, then why not use one that has been around in India for millennia? And so they're going to bring back the caste system. Not only are they going to bring it back, but they're going to strengthen this idea of the caste system, which will inevitably strengthen their rule because people will once again stay within their bounds. Hey, if you're a Sutra, you better stay a Sutra. And if you're good, you might be able to come back in another life as, maybe a Brahmin or something. So here's some I think are funny cartoons. So here's this guy over here, and he's on the phone. Obviously, he's probably having trouble with his computer or something. He says, "This tech support person says she hopes I'm of a caste she can talk to." So apparently, this individual is calling tech support and got somebody in India, and they're like, "Hey, are you in my caste system? I don't know if I can talk to you." I thought it was funny. Okay, another one we have. We have parents, Indian parents, and they're saying to their Indian daughter, Indian, American, Canadian, Pakistani, we don't care who you marry as long as he is a Brahmin. So, uh, I thought they were funny. Okay. So, the end of the Gupta Empire. The Huns invaded from the northwest. Huns attacked until they exhausted all the Gupta's empire's power and their wealth, and in the middle of 500 AD, Gupta rule has ended. So eventually, the Gupta Empire goes away because of the Gupta Empire was invaded by the Huns. The Huns attack. They don't exactly conquer, but I mean, just attacking takes so many resources. It takes a lot of money. you can deplete a country just by keeping them in a constant state of war. Very similar to what happened to us with Iraq. Um, okay, so here are some pictures of Huns. I gave you a picture of the classic Hun from Mulan, not a good guy. And here's what a Hun would typically look like. They were used to fighting in cold weather. They usually were known for their hats and their warm gear, etc. All right, so Indian achievements now. The two great epics. There are two great epics in Indian culture. One is the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. So Mahabharata describes a great war for control of an Indian kingdom, and the Ramayana depicts ideal characters like fathers, mothers, brothers, servants, etc., and kind of shows you their role and how they're supposed to act within their individual roles. Remember, Dharma is a very important part of Indian culture. And mathematics during the Gupta Empire, Aryabhata was using algebra. So arguably the father of algebra, Aryabhata, he was from India, and he was one that kind of came up with this idea of zero, the concept of zero. Uh, Before that, there wasn't an idea of zero. Indians created the concept of zero. They also created numeral 1 through 9 that was used today, created the concept of infinity. So we have a lot of things to acknowledge the ancient Indians on, especially with the concept of zero. We still use the numerals and their Arabic numerals of 1 through 9, and then the idea of infinity is also very prevalent in our math uh, today. And then science in India, they mapped movements of planets and stars, understood the Earth was round and revolved around the sun, and understood the concept of gravity. So the ancient Indians are moving on pretty well. They're really understanding the sciences, and they're also contributing to the rest of the world according to their understanding. So here's one more little cartoon. It says, "You have no respect for the law." "Sure I do. I respect the law of gravity." And then he starts floating and he goes, "Okay, I lied." So, with that said, that's the end. I hope everyone enjoyed our unit on India, and I look forward to discussing this with you at the first of the week. Until then, we'll hope you're safe and we'll see you then. Bye bye.